Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Tuesday, 7 p.m. class. We're going to go ahead and get started. A few announcements first. I've been posting some helpful little tools for you all in the stream part of your Google Classroom. I gave you all the CPT, NCCT prep, CPT questions and answers. That is how your NCCT exam is going to be set up. So I wanted you all to look at it and review. So make sure that you go to the questions. That is the exact format of your NCCT exam. I will also provide for you the ICD-10 as well for you all to start reviewing. So just remember that at the bottom of the packet, you have the answers. So make sure that you try to go in if you can print it as well. And, if you might want to do the first 5 or first 10, just to see how you do, and then check your answers at the end. Or did all of you receive it, the ones that's on the line? Okay, and also I sent like a little PowerPoint for you all for chapter 8. It's an addition to the PowerPoint slides you have that might be a little more helpful for you all to review and go through. And also, I know that I'm not receiving assignments from one of my classes, but if you go online, if you're in the Google Classroom, I will receive it and still can receive it in on your phone. So remember, it's no excuse why you shouldn't be able to do your assignments. You can also submit your assignments. You can use your phone or your computer. I will be sending out your grades by the end of this week. Majority of you all did very, very well. So your progress reports will be coming out. We're doing it a little different since we were in Google Classroom. I had to average your grades from when we were in the e-learning platform to your grades that you were doing in Google Classroom. So I will be sending those out to you by the end of the week. Also, remember, if you have extra points, I have already submitted the grades for 152. So moving forward for 153, if you have extra points, remember to send those extra points to me. Inform me as to where you want those points placed. Those extra credit points can be placed to your exam, a homework assignment, a lab assignment. When you do your pre-test, just inform me and let me know where you want those extra points assigned. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Any questions so far? So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So let me move this up here. So we left off on Appendix D. And if you look in your CPT manual, can you all look in and you're going to go under Appendix. You should be able to see it on page 12. In your CPT manual, it's the page before where it says Introduction. And it starts out, it says on page 931 is Appendix A. Does everyone see it? It's Roman numerals, so it's going to be 10, 11, 12. It's going to be XII.
Oh, that explains.
XII, page 12. And then you have your appendices, and it shows you from what each appendix, what is in that appendix. So for D, it says Appendix D is the summary of CPT add-on codes. And if you look in your textbook where we're saying we're on Appendix D, it says in the CPT manual, list all add-on codes. So if you go to page 957 in your CPT manual, (957), it's in the light blue section, 957. It says summary of CPT add-on codes, page 957 in your CPT manual. It has Appendix D, summary of CPT add-on codes. It says this listing is a summary of CPT add-on codes for CPT 2023. The code listed below are identified in CPT with a plus sign. So it's telling you, so that's how you recognize it. It says the plus symbol placed in front of a code indicates an add-on code. So you might want to highlight this because this information we're going to review on Thursday, but Thursday is your first exam for Chapter 8. This is on your exam. Appendix D in the CPT manual lists all add-on codes. The plus symbol placed in front of a code indicates an add-on code. And it shows you again in illustration 8.7. So right here, you're seeing it's the plus sign and it's in front. So that's an add-on code. And when we spoke about last week, when I was explaining about the percentages on how it lets you know on what percent and if you need to add on a code because of the percentages, this is when you would add that add-on code. But when you have an add-on code, that plus sign is in front of the add-on code. So they have 1100, debridement of extensive eczematosis or infected skin, up to 10% of body surface. So then the next one you see a plus sign because it's an add-on code. It says each additional 10% of the body surface or part thereof, list separately in addition to code for primary procedure. So if it says 20%, 30%, you're gonna have that plus sign and you have to add, it's an add-on code. So the add-on symbol is a plus sign. It says add-on codes are never used alone. So remember that. You never just use an add-on code. It's in addition to. Add-on codes are never used alone. Rather, they are reported with another primary procedure or service code. So here is an example. Code 11,000 describes a debridement, removal of contaminated tissue, up to 10% of the body surface. Add-on code 11,001 is reported for each additional 10% of the body surface debrided or part thereof. Code 11,001 cannot be reported unless code 11,000 is reported first. Also notice in figure 8.7 that there is a note in parentheses that indicates that code 11,001 can be used only in conjunction with code 11,000. So always remember to read the information that's in parentheses, and it's showing you. Use 11,001 in conjunction with. So with an add-on, you can never use that code alone. You have to have an additional, in addition to code. Appendix E in the CPT manual contains the complete list of modifier -51 exempt codes. Modifier -51 indicates that more than one multiple procedure was performed. And then also, if you look in the front of your manual in that cover, and you look at modifier 51, what does modifier 51 states in that front cover? Because remember, in that front cover, the inside cover, that's where you will find all of your modifiers. So what does modifier 51 state?
Multiple procedures.
Correct. So whenever you see if it's multiple procedures, you're going to use modifier 51 exempt codes. It says modifier 51 indicates that more than one multiple procedures was performed. The circle with a line through it identifies a modifier 51 exempt code. Make sure you all become familiar with your symbols because that is also on your exam. Knowing your symbols. The symbols will definitely help you out a lot. So the circle with a line through it identifies a modifier 51 exempt code. Modifier 51 is discussed later in greater detail in chapter 10. So this is the introduction to CPT. So as we move on through the chapters, all of this is going to come back. So it's best to just try to get the understanding. This is an introduction. So when you go into the other chapters, this is the chapter you will reference to remember and to get some feedback and updates on as we move further on. Figure 8.8, modifier 51 exempt CPT code symbol. Remember, a circle with a line through it. Appendix F of the CPT manual contains the summary of CPT codes that are modifier 63 exempt. In your cover of your CPT manual, 63, it says procedure performed on infants less than 4 kilograms. So you would use modifier 63 if a procedure was performed on an infant less than 4 kilograms. Modifier 63 identifies procedures that are performed on infants who weigh less than 4 kilograms or 8.8 pounds and represents a significant increase in the physician's work and complexity of service procedure. Services procedures submitted with modifier 63 may be reviewed for an increase in reimbursement. So everything that you're going through when you're looking at the modifiers is going to be very easy for you to reference in the front cover of your book. So when you look in that front cover, it tells you on what that modifier stands for. So please make sure that you become familiar. You're never going to remember what every modifier stands for, but you have that cover, that reference material. And then remember, whatever specialty you're going to go in for medical billing and coding, this information is going to be in your database, in your computer system. So don't think that you have to know every modifier. So the examples I always use, like if you're in a diabetic clinic, if it's a modifier, all of that is going to be in that system. And if it's something else that's required, the doctor will provide a referral to that clinic. And then you would have those specific modifiers and codes relevant to the practice that you're in. So I don't want you all to become alarmed and think you have to know every modifier, but this is the information you would need to know for your national certification exam. So knowing the basics, knowing where to find it, so you know when you have your book and you're going through the exam and they ask you something about your appendix, you know to go to page 12 in your CPT manual to look and see what that appendix is. What is Appendix F? In Appendix F, modifier 63 exempt. So it's not that you have to memorize everything, it's that you have to know where to find the information. That's the important part, knowing where to find the information. Appendix G, used to provide a summary of moderate conscious sedation codes identified with a bullseye, but was deleted for 2017. So that's important to know. Since the bullseye symbol has been removed from all CPT codes, refer to codes 99151, 99157 to report moderate sedation. Appendix H. So remember, the bullseye was removed. Appendix H was removed from the CPT manual in 2010. The Category 2 codes previously listed, they are now only available on the AMA CPT website. So Appendix H was removed in 2010. Appendix G, the bullseye symbol, has been removed from all CPT codes. Appendix I, used to list the genetic testing code, modifiers, but was deleted for 2013. So see, you have a lot of deletions. Appendix I, used to list the genetic testing code, modifiers, but was deleted for 2013. Appendix J is the electrodiagnostic medicine listing of sensory, motor, and mixed nerves that identify the sensory, motor, and mixed nerves with the corresponding conduction study codes. This is an important appendix here. Appendix K, product pending FDA approval. Contains the lightning bolt symbol that identifies codes that are being tracked by the AMA to monitor Food and Drug Administration. FDA status for approval of a drug. The internet site, so it tells you where. So remember, the lightning bolt is product pending FDA approval. Appendix L, the vascular families, is a helpful listing of the orders of the vascular families, listed of the first order, second order, third order branches, and beyond. As we go further in the chapters, you'll get more familiar with vascular families.
Do I have to?
Yes, ma'am. Appendix M. So in Appendix M, please look at your Appendix M on page 12. Appendix M, deleted CPT codes. List the current year code to replace a deleted code. And if you look at Appendix M, it has now renumbered CPT code citations crosswalk. So they have been renumbered. Appendix N, summary of resequenced CPT codes. In 2010, the AMA introduced resequencing. Historically, the codes within its CPT section have been in numeric order, but that is no longer the case. So it's no longer in numeric order. The pound symbol appears before the resequenced codes. And they give you an example. Appendix O, multi-analyte assays with algorithmic analysis is a listing of codes for advanced diagnostics, such as ovarian oncology code 81500, which assays for 2 proteins. So that's when you're in a specific facility. You'll be using that. Appendix P, synchronous telemedicine service, is a listing of codes where interaction between a provider and a patient who are located at different sites can occur, such as medicine codes, while a star is also placed in front of each code where telemedicine services can be reported. So, exercise 8.2. What does the triangle represent? This is on your exam. You will have this. A triangle stands for what?
A revised code?
A, B, C, D, E, F, or G?
C.
C, correct. Revised procedure description. Number 2. What does the left and right triangle stand for?
A.
A, correct. Beginning and end of text changes. This is what we went over on Thursday of last week. You have to know these symbols. This is on your exam. Number 3.
G.
Number 3 is G, right. It's a new code, new procedure, new code. Number 4, we just went over number 4.
B.
B, modifier 51 exempt. Number 5, the plus sign.
Add-on.
Number 5 is D. It's an add-on code. Number 6. What is number 6?
E.
E.
E. E is correct. Moderate conscious sedation included. And number 7, we just went over the lightning bolt.
That's F.
Number 7 is F, pending FDA approval status. So this is on your exam, knowing your symbols. And your answers are in the front cover of your CPT manual. So if you look in the front cover, of your CPT manual, it says symbols. And all of your symbols are listed right above your modifiers. So no one should have that part incorrect. Your symbols, when you open the cover of your book, it has your symbols, modifiers, category 2 modifiers, anesthesia, physical status modifiers. Everything you would need to know is in that front cover. And then it gives you the page number when you look further in the book of where to find the information that you need. Next. So I like going through these exercises because then this is also showing if you're paying attention or reading the information or understanding, because the answers to everything that we go through is prior to we get to the questions. So number 8, where is a complete list of additions, deletions, and revisions located in the CPT manual? What appendix? Where is a complete list of additions, deletions, and revisions located in the CPT manual? We just went over this as well. Appendix, what appendix?
B.
B. Appendix B states summary of additions, deletions, and revisions. Appendix B. Which CPT manual appendix contains a complete list of all modifiers, -51 exempt code? Which CPT?
E.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
E.
Correct, E. And if you look at Appendix E, summary of CPT codes exempt from modifier 51. Number 10. Which CPT manual appendix contains a complete list of add-on codes? We just went through that as well.
D.
Which one?
D.
You're saying B or D?
D.
I
The
can't.
left. D. Dog.
Okay, thank you. It sounds the same. Yes, that is correct. And if you look at modifier D, summary of CPT add-on codes. Remember, your appendix is on page 12 in your CPT manual. So remember, this is on your exam. CPT sections. The CPT manual is composed of 6 chapters into which all codes and descriptions are categorized. These chapters are called sections. The sections of the CPT manual. So what is the first chapter in the CPT manual?
Evaluation and management.
Correct. That is on your exam. The first chapter, if you look in your CPT manual, the first chapter is evaluation and management. The CPT manual is composed of 6 chapters into which all codes and descriptions are categorized. These chapters are called sections. So all of your evaluation and management codes are in the range of 99202 through 99499. So what color is the evaluation and management section?
Red.
Red. So when you tabbed your manual with your tabs that was in the front of your book, you should have that EM tab with evaluation and management. That is the first chapter in the first section in your CPT manual. Evaluation and management, red. It is red. So in there, it tells you, if you look and turn on that first red section, it states evaluation and management services guidelines. So on the first page, page 4, it tells you, it gives you an overview of your guidelines. Make sure you always read your guidelines first. Classification of evaluation and management services. So if you're going through, it tells you on what page you can find the information that's needed. So become familiar reading your guidelines. It's going to be very, very helpful for you. The next section is anesthesia. Anesthesia. What color is your anesthesia section?
Blue.
Blue. So with your tab is a blue tab, ANES. That's where you should have tabbed your anesthesia section. And that's code, that range, just like in your ICD-10, they have a range, code range. So anything dealing with that anesthesia section would be in 00100 through 01999. Surgery section, they give you the code range, which is really huge. 10004 through 69990. That also assists you with knowing how to tab your manual. Radiology, the code range. Pathology and laboratory, the code range. Medicine. So if you're looking for an evaluation and management code and you know that you're in 1004 through 6990, then you know that that answer is incorrect, because the code range for evaluation and management is 99202 through 99499. And then pay attention to, when you're in the book, your color-coded sections. So you know if it's evaluation and management, you know you shouldn't be in a blue, or orange, or green section. So these are the 6 sections of the CPT manual. You must know the 6 sections: evaluation and management, anesthesia, surgery, radiology, pathology and laboratory, and medicine. The sections are further divided into subsections, subheadings, categories, and subcategories. A section is a chapter that covers one of the 6 topics included in the CPT manual: evaluation management, anesthesia, surgery, radiology, pathology, and medicine. The CPT codes are arranged in numerical order in each section. So it has, let's review the 6 sections. We just did that. Sections are divided into subsections. For example, the surgery section includes subsections of integumentary, musculoskeletal, respiratory, cardiovascular, and so forth. So the section is the surgery section. The subsection is the cardiovascular system. The subheading is arteries and veins. The category is embolectomy, thrombectomy, and the subcategory is arterial with or without catheter. So this is how everything is broken down when you go into those sections.
Kind of makes sense now.
Yes, it's broken down. So example, here's section. We're in surgery. The subsection is the nervous system. Subheading, skull, meninges, and brain. Category, surgery of skull base. Subcategory, approach procedures. So depending on the procedure in that nervous system as to how you're going to code. Section, subsection, subheading, and category. To see an example of section, subsection, subheading, and category, locate the code 19,000 puncture aspiration of cyst of breast in the CPT and the surgery section. With a CPT beside you, open to the page where CPT code 1900 is located or referring for figure 810. Find the information on the top of the CPT manual page. So turn to code 19,000 in your CPT manual in the surgery section. And you should have your manuals tabbed. So what tab, what color is the surgery section?
It's green.
Right. So you know you should be in the green section for surgery. It's right after the blue section. So what page is puncture aspiration of cyst of breast in the CPT and the surgery section?
123.
No, what page in your CPT manual?
123.
You must be in a different, y'all in your CPT 2023 edition?
This is 2022 edition.
Okay, so I'm in a 2023 edition, so the page numbers are probably different. I'm on page 108. Does anyone have a CPT 2023? So what does it say on your page for 123? You see code 19,000?
Yes, ma'am.
And it says puncture aspiration of cyst of breast with a green arrow, and it says CPT.
Assistant.
Yes. So the section is surgery, but then you see how it's labeled and they have red above it, breast, because that's in that section of the CPT, that's integumentary. So you are going to look, when you find that code, it's going to tell you, locate the code, puncture aspiration of cyst of breast in the CPT in the surgery section, because they're providing a procedure, surgery. With a CPT beside you, open to the page, and it says located or referring to figure 18. And it tells you at the top of the page, the code range. And you're in the integumentary system. All of that is at the top of the page. And it says at the top of the page, the word surgery indicates the section. Note that this word is followed by a range of numbers, which is a list of all the code numbers located on that page. So you see, it's telling you a list of all of the page numbers, 17380 to 19082. So it's giving you a list of all of the code range on that page. Subsection. Also at the top of the page, the phrase integumentary system indicates the subsection. So if you look at the top, it's telling you the section, and then it's also giving you the subsection. Integumentary system. The subheading, the word breast, indicates the subheading. Category, the word incision, indicates the category. In summary, the divisions for the previous examples are, so the section is your surgery section, the subsection is integumentary system, the subheading is breast, and the category is incision. So now you're going to try one. It says here, with a CPT manual open to the page that contains code 30100, locate the following information. I need the section, subsection, subheading, and the category. And I need you to give me the page number where you are. $3,100.
The surgery respiratory system,
Okay, so my book is a little different. What page are you on?
219, or yeah, 3100.
So what
Excision.
color section is it in?
Yellow,
And what page you said? I know mine is a little different.
219.
See, mine is like an orange.
Like a yellowish orange.
Okay. And you said,
It's surgery respiratory system, and then excision, and then the subcategory is biopsy intranasal.
finding in mine, because like I said, my book is a little different. So let me find it in my book. 3,100. Okay. So what's the section?
Surgery respiratory system.
Okay, yeah. So the section is
Oh, excision,
surgery, correct. And then the subsection is,
Respiratory.
yes.
I'm confused.
So the section is the surgery section. The subsection is respiratory system. What's the subheading?
Biopsy intranasal.
Does everyone agree? Make corrections if you think so.
Is it nose?
Oh, it is nose.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about the red. Oops.
Does everyone agree?
Yes.
And what's the subheading?
Exorcism.
Excision. So let's see. So, let me go back. So is everyone understanding this section? how you get the section, subsection, subheading?
Kind
So,
of self-explanatory, like once you find what you're looking for.
right, so we're gonna go back to this one so you'll get an understanding. So the section, remember, it's still surgery. But then the last subsection was the integumentary system. This subsection is what?
Respiratory system.
It was a respiratory.
Respiratory system. The subheading before, when we look at it, was breast. What's the subheading that we did here? The subheading was what?
Nose.
No. Then the category for the last one, what was the category? Was incision. What's the category for this one?
Biopsy.
That's the one we have incorrect. What is the category?
Excision.
Excision. The category is excision.
Oh.
So remember, you have to make sure you're looking at the code range. So the code range was 3,100. So incision was 30,000. So paying attention to that code range is very important. So does everyone understand that part so far?
Yes.
Okay, moving on.
Oh, little girl so cute.
Subsections, subheading categories, and subcategories are division of sections that are based on anatomy, procedure, condition, description, or approach. Highlight that if you all if you can. That is on your exam. Subsections, subheadings, categories, and subcategories are divisions of sections that are based on anatomy, procedure, condition, description, or approach. Using the section, subsection, subheading, and category information makes it much faster and easier to get around in the CPT manual. It's going to be very helpful when you look at the subsections and all of that. Your CPT guidelines. Each section in the CPT manual includes guidelines. The guidelines provide specific information about coding in the section and contains valuable information for the coder. Guidelines that are applicable to all codes in the sections are found at the beginning of each section. So for your evaluation and management, your guidelines is at the beginning of each section. And it tells you, before you get started, it tells you your guideline overview. On page 4, it says in your CPT manual, evaluation and management services guidelines. So you always make sure you become familiar with your guidelines. And it tells you EM guidelines overview, new and established patients, classification of evaluation and management services. Always read your guidelines. Surgery guidelines. Items used by all physicians in reporting their services are presented in the introduction. Some of the formalities are repeated here for the convenience of those physicians referring to this section on surgery. Other definitions and items unique to surgery are also listed. So section guidelines, it says notes pertaining to specific codes or groups of codes are listed before or after the codes. It is giving you an example. The guidelines and notes may contain definitions of terms, applicable modifiers, subsection information, unlisted services, special report information, or clinical examples. Always read the guidelines and notes before coding to help ensure accurate assignment of the CPT codes. So make sure that you go over this. I think this is one of your assignments, 8.4. And then we're going to go through code format. Procedure and service descriptions are located after the code. So the code format. Procedure and service descriptions are located after the code. These are commonly accepted descriptions of procedures or services that are provided to patients. So it's giving you a procedure descriptor. Drainage of finger abscess simple. So this is important. It says there are two types of codes, standalone codes and indented codes. Very important to know. There are two types of codes, standalone codes and indented codes. Here is an example. Standalone code, drainage of finger abscess simple. They're showing you a semicolon, simple. 2611, complicated. So it's indented. It says indented code includes description preceding the semicolon, drainage of finger abscess. So this is an example it's going to show you. Standalone codes and indented codes. Only the standalone codes have the full description. Indented codes are listed under associated standalone codes. So remember, a standalone code has the full description. Indented codes are listed under associated standalone codes. It is understood that descriptions for indented codes include that portion of the standalone code description that precedes the semicolon. The purpose of the semicolon is to save space. So that's important to know. The purpose of a semicolon is to save space. So always read your cautions in your book. It says, you may not have realized it, but you've just been given a critical clue to coding the semicolon. The following information will help you understand why the semicolon is so important. In figure 814, the code 26011 is an indented code. The indentation serves to represent the words drainage of finger abscess, which appear before the semicolon in CPT code 26010. The semicolon is a powerful tool in the CPT manual. When you see it, be sure to read the words before it carefully. That's important to know. So when you see a semicolon, make sure you're reading the words before it. The words following the semicolon can indicate alternative anatomic sites, alternative procedures, or a description of the extent of the service. So here are some examples. Alternative anatomic site. So 27705, osteotomy tibia. 27700707, fibula. 27709, tibia and fibula. Alternative procedure, 31505, laryngoscopy, indirect diagnostic, separate procedure. With biopsy is 315105. With removal of foreign body is 1. With removal of lesion, it's 2. With vocal cord injection, it's 3. So every time you add a different procedure, that code is going to change. Then you have the description of extent of the service. Removal of foreign body in muscle or tendon, sheet simple. So when you're looking in your, when you're looking in the front of your book for your coding, and as far as your notations, it's going to be simple, complicated. That's going to be your extent of the service. So on here, it says extent of service is simple. Then 20525 is deep or complicated. So you have to look at what is the extent of the procedure. if it's a simple procedure or if it's a complicated procedure. Make sure you're always reading the caution. Before assigning an indented code, make sure you refer to the preceding standalone code and read the words that precede the semicolon. That is the only way to ensure a full description and select a correct code. So we're going to stop there. So make sure that you're reading your PowerPoint slides. Make sure that you're reading your chapter. This is not a long chapter because chapter 9 is HCPCS codes. You're going to be in your HCPCS manual, which is category 2 codes. All of it, though, goes together. So make sure that you reread chapter 8, your introduction. Continue to read the chapter. Continue, because then you have on here your modifiers, which I said is in the front of your cover. Become familiar with your modifiers. We'll be going over that on Thursday. So make sure you become familiar with what is the modifiers for 2 surgeons? What is the modifiers for multiple procedures? The 2-digit modifiers added to the 5-digit CPT code. Make sure that you're reading through your chapters. You have to read. If you do not read, you will have a lot of difficulty when it comes time to assigning codes. Make sure you go over and know that what appendix to look for different examples. So any questions or concerns? This chapter is not that long. Read through your unlisted procedures. We'll be going over that on Thursday as well. Modifiers, unlisted procedures. But I need you to read through it so you can be familiar. Category 2 codes, which will be in chapter 9 as well. Category 3 codes. So make sure that you're reviewing this information, because remember, we only touch base on the most important little factors, but on Thursday is your chapter 8 exam. And we'll be doing a review of your exam as well as we did today. Information that I'm informing you will be on your exam. Also, make sure you review your CMS 1500 form. That is on your exam as well. I gave you the instructions and I gave you a sample CMS 1500 form. So make sure you're able to complete and fill out that form. That form is on your exam. Make sure in your groups that you're practicing with each other on how to complete the CMS 1500 form. One of you can use a form and you can use your own information or make up a person's information and complete the form. Practice makes perfect. You have to practice completing those forms because you're going to be doing these throughout your career. CMS 1500 form. That's how you get reimbursed for services. So make sure that you're going through that CMS 1500 form that is on your exam for chapter 8. Everything that we have covered so far is on that exam. Remember to read on. Remember to read on your own, your PowerPoint slides, the information I provided for you all. Continue to read that. Make sure you put your points down. It was 10 points for this assignment. Make sure you put your points down. Any questions?
I have a question. When you go into the index and you're looking up like a service or whatever, and they have tons of codes, like 4 or 5 different codes. You have to go look up each and every one.
Well, the easiest way to do is to read that guideline.
Okay.
Excuse me. Read that guideline for that specific code. So you're not going to get to look up every single one because that's very time consuming. Yeah. But if you know that category, you know that subcategory, that will be able to assist you in looking it up faster.
Okay, because I didn't know how to choose, and I was doing my exercises. And I was like, I know I'm missing something.
Yeah, and then go back. Yes. So just like we just did with those examples, follow those examples on looking at the section at the top of the page. It has that subcategory, the different things. That's going to make it, you're going to go much faster, and it's going to become easier for you. So you don't have to look up every single thing. Yes.
Thank God.
Yes. That's why I like to go through some of the exercises so you get an understanding of what's easier. And then, like I said, once you become familiar with it, it'll be much easier. It's just a learning. That's why I said this is the introduction to CPT. So make sure that you become very familiar with the introduction, because this shows you the basic, the guidelines, how you get started. And as we move through the chapters, you're going to understand how important the introduction is. And then you can always go back and reference. But remember, like, what are your 6 sections? So, you know, in the first section in your CPT manual, know those 6 sections. Know that the first chapter is evaluation and management. So anything with evaluation and management, you're going to go through that first section, which is like, try to become familiar in the beginning with your section colors. So, you know, evaluation and management is the red section. And then as you tab, you know that you have that EM section. The first section is evaluation and management. The second section is anesthesia. You know, so that helps you as well with being able to locate and find those codes much easier. Does that help a little bit?
Yeah, a lot.
Okay, any other questions or concerns? So all of you finding the information that I'm posting for your classwork?
Well, I was kind of concerned because I think it was on assignment 4 when I was doing, I think it was exercise 8-9. I kind of got confused.
Let's see. Exercise 8-9.
Yes, ma'am.
So exercise 8-9 is the main term. And look at the main terms. And so what are you getting confused with the main terms? Because
I think it was just the way it was worded.
so basically it's the same thing like with the ICD-10, knowing your main term, what to look up.
Right.
Like the main term description, emergency department services, physician direction of advanced life support. So for number 1, for what it says A and B, locate the code available in the index of the CPT. So your main term for 1, for A9, what did you have? What would you put for that one?
Emergency department service.
Correct. So that main term would be emergency or emergency department service. The main term description, emergency department services. So your main term for that would be either emergent, could be emergency, or you can use the whole phrase emergency department services.
Okay.
Then it says locate the code available in the index of the CPT manual for emergency department services, physician direction of advanced life support. So remember, where are you looking? What section are you in?
I know you would look in E and M.
Right, you're in evaluation and management.
I don't know. I guess I just got confused.
Right.
But I think with going over everything that we just went over, it kind of helped me out more.
Right. So remember, you're going to be in evaluation and management. So you're going to look up those codes but you're going to be looking for emergency department services, physician direction of advanced life support.
Okay.
And then, like I said, we're going to recover that. We're going to go over that section as well. I don't want to get everyone confused, you know, with moving on like that. We're going to review, but read the sections prior, and then that would assist you as well with going through that. Remember, CMS 1500 on the exam, read your entire chapter, chapter 8, go through your PowerPoint slides, and I will see you on Thursday for 4 p.m. And Thursday, remember, is going to be a review of everything that's going to be on your exam. But I need you all also to read the entire chapter, chapter 8, because we don't have time like to cover every specific thing. That's why it's important for you all to read your chapters, your PowerPoint slides, and go through everything as well. And then we go through, and like I said, when we do our review, we go through some of the exercises and review, but it's important for you to be able to, to read everything as well. Any other questions before I see you all on Thursday? All right, you all have a wonderful rest of your evening. You all stay safe, and I will see you on Thursday for 4 p.m. Bye-bye.